Hello everyone. This segment is on Flexion for Success. It's following up on one of the articles in my ebook, and I just wanted to do a nice video presentation to go along with that article and the pictures in that article. This little horse that I'm on is Sunshine. Some of you might know her. I've had her since she was I think I owned her as a yearling, and I started handling her as a weanling. So she's been with me for pretty much most of her life. She's 10 years old this year. Okay, without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. This is one of the main exercises I work on at my clinics. So those of you that have been to a clinic of mine, this is going to look familiar, and hopefully this will give you guys something to reference when you're home working with your horses. So why I started working on this specific set of exercises, we'll go through 3, is to help people with their horse's bit response, honestly. There's a lot of horses out there that are either nervous about a bit or bitless bridle, whatever you want to use. It makes no difference. For this exercise, I like using a snaffle or a hackamore, as long as they're respectful of a hackamore. So the horses are either nervous about that bit or bitless bridle, or they're pushy and dominant about it and heavy and all those things. And that can be 2 of the most dangerous places to be with a horse, because remembering these are prey animals, there's a drive line, just like with a cow or a sheep or a deer or anything that's a prey animal. If you're behind the drive line, you're going to chase that animal forward. If you're in front of it, you can stop it and turn it, right? So we're sitting behind the drive line. Our bit or our bitless bridle, whatever we have on their face, is in front of the drive line. So it's not even theoretically, actually that's our last resort. So I like to get that bit response really good through these 3 flexion exercises. The first one I like to start with, and these sets of exercises, I don't use my legs to help, because I want that animal to totally think about what's going on in their mouth or on their nose. I want them to connect the signal, the bit signal, like I said, whatever you want to use. I'm going to call it bit response from here on. I want them to connect the bit signal to the foot, whether it's a front foot or a hind foot. These exercises are different than any sort of neutral flexion. I'm sure some of you guys, or maybe a lot of you guys, let me see if I can get her to do it here. I don't do this a lot with horses. I'll do it with a real nervous horse, you know, that's real stiff in the neck. I'll just take my rein around. Hold on there, sweetheart. Let's do it this way. I'll take my rein around to the side, and I'll hold it on my leg like that. It's kind of a neutral thing. I'm not asking for feet, but see where my hand is? It's an inactive rein. Right, so this actually flexes the neck without this hooking the pressure, or hooking that signal to the foot. So I don't do this a lot, right? Because actually, I want to be able to control that horse's feet, not pull that horse's neck around and have it become what a lot of people call rubber-necked. So I save that exercise for a real nervous, stiff, but nervous horse, because I want them to be able to relax about me moving that neck around. These 3 exercises, will help with that relaxation as well. So again, these are no leg exercises. The first one I want to do, and I want to preface this with, if your horse gets worried about this and moves its feet around, that's actually okay. This is a passive drill, right? We're not in any hurry with any of this. I don't want to hurry up and get this horse nervous, because this is my baseline for my collection. If I can't get these 3 things done, I'm not going to collect a horse, because they're going to be nervous about it. They're going to be nervous about all those small flexions, but I don't want any nervousness living inside this this animal's neck when I go to collect it. Okay, so I'm going to reach down. I'm going to go for a front foot right away. I'm going to reach down pretty far with my rein, right? And then I'm going to pretend that there's a string attached to my horse's foot, my right front foot. Some horses will stand on that foot and turn all the other 3 around. I'm gonna wait and make this real easy. And hopefully she'll mess up here, and you'll get to see. Hold on there, sister. So I want that right front to come straight out. Now when she goes ahead and goes into motion, I'm going to let her go into motion. Let her walk around kind of wherever she wants to. And then I'm going to go actually skip to my third exercise, which is a backup. When I do that, I take my seat. My seat is my first signal, my feet pushing on the stirrups like they're brakes. And then I'll take my hands to a place. I'm not going to pull on my horse. I'm going to take my hands to a place. Always have hands that hold, not pull. So the other thing I talk about is having cutting boards in front of you, because they're kind of planes, right? My hands are crooked here, then that bit's crooked in her mouth. There might be a day where I actually want some sort of a flexion like that, but right now I need everything to be square so that my lines are clean for my horse, okay? So priorities on the backup are flexion and then direction. If my horse is going backwards at 9,000 miles an hour with its head up and its neck stiff like that, I'm just going to wait, right, until it starts to soften its neck. Starts to soften its neck. Remember, reward the smallest change and the slightest try. I think that's a pretty popular statement these days, or hopefully it is. Most of you have heard of it a million times. That's your smallest try. If your horse is doing a maneuver at -10, it's really bad, and then they go to -9, that's progress. You've got to give on that. So if my horse is going backwards, but its head's sticking up in the air and it's stiff in its jaw, I'm just going to sit there and wait for it to start to relax. That's how I get my horse's brain heading in my direction and get them trying for me and willing, okay? So again, this is a passive set of drills. I'm going to go for her left front. All I'm doing is asking for that foot to go 90 degrees out to the side right now. Super simple. Big open door to the left, right? So I want to bring my hand down. She moved that foot, but she didn't move it 90 degrees out. Remember, I've got a string on that foot. So I'm going to let her walk around here a little bit, kind of get her in motion, and then I'm going to take her out of motion by then going seat, put my shoulders behind my hips, feet, push my, look, she's already backing up. Push my feet in the stirrups like they're brakes, and then I'm going to take my hands to a place. If I take my hands to a place, look, she's got the ability to throw slack in those reins, okay? That's letting her mind figure the sequence out. Super important, guys. Okay, I'm going to walk up here and get a little further away from me here. So again, she kind of knows this deal. I'm going to try to make it real obvious what I'm doing. Again, I'm going to reach down. She already feels me reaching for that rein, okay? I'm going to reach down. I'm going to take the right foot now out to the right. Again, I'm not using my legs. I'm just using my bit. I want her to connect. Now she moved her left foot first and then her right foot. So I didn't release on that left foot. I only released when that right foot came. Ideally, perfect world, you release when that foot comes off the ground. It's super important that the foot aims, you get the foot to fall under your hand, okay? If I'm going like this, 90 degrees out to the side, and she steps forward like that, that's not what I asked for. I'm going to wait until she tries here, and then release, okay? Super important to be accurate. I only want one step accurate, and then everything else, then it's back to her wherever she wants to go after that for 4 or 5 steps. I don't care, right? I'm not going to start steering her again right away. I'm just going to let her walk off. Super important, because I really want my horse, this horse, every horse that I come across, touch, whatever, I want them to relax in my hands. So she's a little stiff here. She's doing a whole lot of stuff without me asking. So what she's doing right now is stepping behind my hand which that doesn't usually happen. Usually they step in front of your hand. So if I'm 90 degrees off to the side, usually they step in front, not behind. She knows how to turn around a little bit, so she's anticipating I want her to spin. But that's anticipation. I don't want her to anticipate. I want her to be accurate. One step, I want it straight out to the side. She needs to pay attention to where my angle and my trajectory is. Okay, so I got her in motion. I'm going to take her out of motion by putting my shoulders back behind my hips, pushing on my stirrups, and taking my hands to a place. Again, I'm just going to sit here and wait until I feel that neck gets soft. Flexion, then direction, right? So that's my, again, I'm going from 1 to 3. The first exercise is the front foot, and then the third exercise is the back up to get this longitudinal flexion here, the flexion over the top. I want this, I don't want to leave any fear or wild horse in here, you know, that instinct to push into pressure. The horses will push into pressure 2 ways, whether you have a bit or a bitless bridle. They're going to go up like this, maybe open their mouth and sling their tongue out, or they're going to go root down, like down to the ground. A professional polo player that I worked for a while back now, he said, Kalley, there's 2 no man's lands. One's up here, they can't see where they're going, they'll run right into a brick wall, and the other's down here. They can't see where they're going, they'll run right into a brick wall. You want their head, you want them level-headed, quote unquote. Okay, so I'm going to wait till that head starts to drop, or I'm waiting for that flexion. That's my #1 priority. Walking over dollars to pick up pennies. The dollar is the flexion, the penny is the direction right now. Later on, I'll hook them both together, and I'll ask the horse to be soft and back up at the same time, and then maybe back up with increasing amounts of speed or varying amounts of speed. Okay, but that's later. That's a discussion for another time. Okay, exercise #2. I want actually to be able to hook my rein to the hind foot. Okay, front foot's easier for us humans to do. The hind foot actually is really helpful for controlling your horse. You're disengaging them, you're crisscrossing their hind legs, right? So you're taking their power away. Okay, so when you do that, again, you imagine that there's a string tied to that hind foot in your hand. So you're going to come up and across like this, okay? I'm going to tip forward, weight the front end. It's kind of a signal to the horse that, hey, I want this part of your body stuck in the ground. I'm going to lighten the rear end. Now see how she brought her neck right around? Some horses will sit here for a long time. And that's good because look at all this nice flexion I'm getting while my rein is active. Okay, that's a really, really important thing. If your horse just sits there and in this initial stage when you're teaching, if they stand there and they have their neck like this, that's awesome. You know, because that they're flexing that neck, they're stretching that neck out, they're realizing there's no rush. If they wait there, no. You're keeping your hand active. I'm trying to show you a little bit of what it might look like. You're keeping your hand active. You're not in that neutral position where you've got your hand on your thigh just with a dead rein. You've got a live rein. Okay, there's a big difference between a dead rein and a live rein, right? So I'm going to keep repositioning my hand to keep the horse's brain engaged because you don't want him to go numb and dumb. Like a lot of horses have done that neutral flexion thing and they'll just fall asleep. You know, I run into that a lot at the clinic, so I'll just kind of fall asleep. Even though my rein's still active, well, hey, I'm talking to the horse's feet and he's gone brain dead, he's gone to sleep. So I don't want that either. So I want to keep my rein active. It's a similar strategy as if you were walking along with your horse and they went, burr, and they balked and they stopped. You wouldn't keep running into the lead rope, right? Or pulling on the lead rope on the same trajectory. You'd change that trajectory and move around, wouldn't you? Same thing. That's an active rein. This is, when I come down here and bring it around, I'm going to wait. See how that left hind is kind of poised to move. I'm going to pretend, again, I've got a string hooked to that hind foot. I want it to come forward and across. If my horse wants to sit here for a little bit, that's all right too. She gets a little ants in her pants. So I'd like her just to settle down about this. And that's kind of one of her worst faults. She gets kind of wound up. Now, there we go, that foot moved. I'm gonna leave her alone. No, you don't get to eat grass either, sister. Good girl. So I want him to relax about bit pressure. You would not believe how much calmer, if you've got a horse that's nervous, how much calmer this will make your horse about his bit response. It'll also lighten up a dull horse because they're going, aha, I feel pressure, I just need to move my feet and not my foot. I need to figure out where to move my foot and that pressure goes away. So I kind of blame, if I've got a horse that's heavy in the mouth, I blame the feet. I go, man, those feet are heavy. Holy smokes. I can't move those things anywhere. I can't move them forward, can't move them backwards. You know, I blame the feet instead of blame the mouth. It's kind of a different side of the same coin. All right, I'm going to go this hind leg. I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to pull that hind leg forward. I'm going to pretend to pull that hind leg forward. If she wants to sit here for a little bit, that's all right. Now she moved the right front. There we go. I got the left or the right hind to come up and under. Perfect. That's when I release. It's important to wait for the foot that you want. You got to be particular or your horse won't. Got her into motion. That's cool. I'm going to take her out of motion one last time. I'm running out of daylight here. Sit back, push on my stirrups, take my hands to a place, and wait for that neck to feel nice and soft. Then I'm going to release. I don't care if she wiggles around right now. Again, I'm not really worried about that straightness just right now, because this is the kind of the infantile stage, you know, getting this horse relaxed in her mouth and relaxed about that bit and understanding that bit and what to do with it. I think that's it for this lesson, guys. I'll see you next time.